Well, Sanford's back in the shop, and it's got a list of things we're going to redo on it. Quite a big list. That's kind of why I've been pushing on the gerbil to have something to go for this winter. So, first things first, Sanford's kind of been in the doghouse. We went to Wild Bill over in Montana, and I had a bunch of problems with this propane setup. Even though I did the new regulator and stuff, it'll run for I don't know a couple hundred feet or so, and then it dies. And if it sits, it'll start up and run another couple hundred feet. I don't know what's going on with it. If it's got, I've read that some of these newer regulators had issues being rebuilt, or that when they built them that they were put together wrong. So I'm gonna open it up and see what's going on in there. If it's something's not right, or if it has a tear in one of the diaphragms or something. But I definitely have issues with that. If I cannot get this propane figured out, I do have a brand new Holly Truck Avenger. That's what was on it before, but the one that was on it was an actual 770 CFM, which is way too much for this motor. So I actually got a 650, so it should be a lot better. So that's my last resort, is go back to carbureted. I know I can go fuel injection, but I don't know. The whole thing with Sanford is just kind of keeping it old school, and that's kind of what leads me to the next thing. So I've been running leaf springs, and I've been back and forth on wanting to link and coil over and do all that, and I just kind of, I don't know. I've liked how this has been, how it works, but the springs definitely are not taking the abuse. I've only been out twice with these ones, and they're already buckled and hammered, and there's only so many 4, 5, 6 foot boulders you can go over before they start complaining. So what I thought, which would keep it old school, and it's a lot of work and it's stupid, but I might link it, stretch it, and I'm going to run coil springs with shocks. And I like that because, the coil springs always want to go back to neutral. I don't think I'll give up any of my stability. It's super cheap, something that anybody could do. But I'm going to run it for a while. I can always go to coilovers or whatever. I've got stuff on the shelf. I can swap it over if I want to. But the whole point of Sanford has been to keep it simple, keep it on the cheap, and make an effective vehicle that anybody could own. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on this, because that would let me stretch my front. I'll put hydraulic steering on it. And then I can get I've got a worn 8274 winch. I'd like to get rid of this junky one and sink it into the grill and stuff, but I can't really do all that because the steering box is right under here, so that gets in the way of everything. So I think linking and putting coil springs in this is kind of the best of both worlds. Still something old school we used to do in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. And it's cheap and it's easy, and I don't know, I'm doing it. So that's the next upgrade on that. I'm gonna leave the rear leaf sprung still. I like how it flexes. I like the stability of it, so I'm not changing anything there. The next item is this roll cage, and I don't know if you can see, but it's rubbed on a lot of stuff. But this little corner, this is a hacked up kind of a mess that was in this Jeep when I got it, and I've just added to it and stuff, and I don't know, I've always wanted to change it. I just haven't had time to do it. So this corner up here, I have dug into more trees and got hung up on rocks and everything, and I always like to build my door bars, one big long piece that wraps around and goes down. So I'm gonna do the cage that way. This cage will probably go into another YJ I have, so it's not gonna get scrapped. But yeah, I want to redo the cage, beef it up a little bit, change it up a little bit, and then the way all this is back here, the tub, this has all been hammered, which is telling me it needs doved. So I think I'm gonna dove it into the cage, so the back half is kind of tube. It'll still look like a Jeep. I'm still gonna skin it and try and keep my fender line, but I'm just gonna taper it a bit. But I think that'll kind of keep a little of that, some of this from happening, So, but yeah, and that'll freshen up the back half of this. But yeah, this is all stuff. This is mainly Wyoming that did a lot of this stuff. So, but yeah, so that'll get freshened up. The seats, Julie Henry did these seats for me, and she did an awesome job. This material it's a Walmart blanket that we bought. Well, we bought 2 of them, and they were like, I don't know, it was like $18 for the pair each or something. It was cheap, but they're super comfortable, super soft, but they were so thin. I didn't think they're going to probably make it a year, but they have. But yeah, some of it's starting to show a little wear. This is seams are probably, but she kind of used some of the old and added some new, and she couldn't get her stitching in to catch enough of the old stuff there. So if we redo these, we'll redo them with brand new stuff. I'm trying to think of a new theme for next year. I've got an idea, and we might do it. So, but yeah, those are going to get redone. I think, address my leaky transfer case. It's got a crack, so I'm going to stuff an Atlas in it over this winter. Get that coming. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to stretch the rear. I like that. I think I'm 108 right now, and I think by kicking this front end forward, I'm thinking 4, maybe 5 inches or so. So if I can get up around, I don't know, 112-ish or so, I'd be really happy. And then moving that forward puts my center of gravity back a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff on the list, and it hopefully won't take too long. I'm pretty quick about doing cages and stuff. The front links, I've got all the brackets. I got everything to do it, so that shouldn't take very long. The seats will take a little bit, and this propane setup, I have to figure out what it's doing. I want to at least try and diagnose it, and if I can't, the carburetor's going on, and it is what it is. So. But yeah, that's a little breakdown on this winter with Sanford, but I kind of want to have it done at least by New Year's to where I can take it out. If I don't, then yeah, we'll be taking the gerbil out. But that's another thing is when I do link this, I'm actually going to I've got the Chevy 1-ton axles. They had 538s in them. This is only 410s in these axles, and the only thing that makes up for it is a Dana 300 and SM 420. Gives me the gearing I have, but I've been wanting a little bit more. So since I'm going to link and I need the truss and everything, I'm going to put the Chevy ones in here because the Chevy ones where the U-bolt goes for the leaf springs, that was stripped out. So I got a truss and everything for it. So I'm going to swap that stuff in here. That'll give me the gearing, and Sanford axles are actually going to wind up in the gerbil. They're a little bit narrower. That'll keep both these rigs 8 lugs. I can swap between my stickies and my IROCs, and yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of, I don't know, I got a cage going to another Jeep, I got axles going to the gerbil, so everything kind of is going to go to a new home, but it all kind of saves money in the end and keeps a couple of rigs running. So yeah, but that's the plan. Stick around and see what happens with this thing, and things might change as I get into it. I may find more mysterious problems. Who knows? My wiring, that's another thing. This has been so cobbled and butched and chopped up over the outings we've done, and I've stole wires out to run fuel pumps and taken stuff from my rock lights, and so I think I'm going to rewire this whole thing and just kind of freshen all that up so I know what's what. But yeah, hopefully it'll roll out of here in I don't know, a month or two, looking way different and working way better. So yeah, stick around, like, subscribe, share, comment. If there's anything you guys want to see or you think there's something I ought to change or whatever, I'm open to suggestions. So yeah, thanks for watching.